All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Western States Racing League Round 3 at Hotlanta. My name is James Riles. With me in the booth is Tony Trapasso. Tony, how are you, sir?
This was a couple days ago. But yeah, we are down south in Hotlanta. Third race of season 46 of the Western States Racing League. We've already had 2 different winners on the season. Can we get a third tonight at Atlanta?
Yeah, I don't know if we got a lot of drivers out here putting down a lot of practice. That's what we're watching right now, folks. As 2 winners so far overall. It seems to be going around a lot of the races we broadcast right now. Which, if you are coming over straight from the Rick Motec Truck Series, what an absolute banger of a finish over there, Tony.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Did you catch the ending over there?
I did, and I was impressed.
Absolutely. It was absolutely wild. If you don't know, guys, they were at the iRacing Super Speedway, which it's refreshing to see a league have the stones to go there and make it their playoff or their regular season, the end of their regular season at the iRacing Super Speedway. And it was an absolute
Isn't that like
blast.
a 4-mile track?
3.
3, okay. I knew it was like redonkulous.
Yes, it was absolutely wild. It was a good time. I know I had a good time over there watching it. You guys can check that out pretty much on our replays. So, Tony, tell me about Atlanta. Tell me about what we got going on here at the Western States Tuesday Truck League.
One of the classic quad oval 1.5 miles, high banks, high heat, high track temperatures. This is one of the best racing tracks we will go to all season long. And if you saw last season's race, you'll know why I'm saying that. But these guys, every time they come here, it's always, door to door, side by side, rubbing fenders, and just putting on an amazing show, which you kind of come to expect out of the Western States Racing League. The only thing that's got me a little bit concerned is the slickness of the track right now, being that it's 123-degree track temperature. Turn 2 is probably going to be Calamity Corner tonight because you come off that banking coming off of 2 onto that relatively flat back straightaway, and it's real easy to get that concrete wall where the safer barrier kind of juts back in. But so far, so good. Jeff Hollingsworth making his return to the league, currently sitting atop the pylon in the timing and scoring for the hot lap session. But I wanted to point out something real quick. I was just looking at the standings. I know this is only race 3 tonight, but I kind of like to keep apprised of the situation. This is the first time in 4 seasons now Bentley Glazier. The previous 3 seasons, this is the first time that Bentley Glazier has not been leading the point standings.
Yeah, and it's close. I was looking at those as well earlier. Bentley Glazier, if you guys don't know, he was our regular season, and I guess there is only a regular season for these guys. They do not do a chase style.
But 3 times.
Yeah, 3 times
3
in a row.
3 consecutive seasons.
Was our champion last year, and again 2 others before that. But yeah, did not win the first time out, and he's now in that Gatorade Blue 87 machine, hoping to come out here and get another win and put himself in a little bit better position. Of course, we talk about in a little bit better position. The guy's in second place with 82 points, only beaten by Ryan Steele, who won the first race of the season and then got 2 top 5s on him. That's the only difference.
Well, when you think about it, Ryan won the first race and finished second last week.
Yeah. So a lot of these guys, I mean, looking through the series, we got Brian Barnes, one of the guys we always keep an eye on, has been having a heck of a season so far. Only 2 races down, but we usually talk about Brian Barnes a lot, but watch him in the mid-pack and then see him later on as the race progresses. This guy always finds his way into the top 10 without expecting it. He always falls back, takes his time, and then hops right back into the top 10 by the end of it. But he's sitting in third. Then we got Carl Burke and Jeff Schmeyer there, tied for fourth, rounding out your top 5, if that's not confusing enough. There was 78 points. And like we said, Tony, go ahead and explain how these guys do their points and they name their champion just for everybody at home.
Well, they do this, for those of you who have been following NASCAR for more than the past 20 years now. You might remember a time when season starts and you start collecting points. And at the last race of the season, not regular season, but the last race of the season, whoever has the most accumulative points, that's your series champion, plain and simple. There's a bonus point for leading the lap. I believe there's a bonus point for pole position. And I believe there's a bonus point for clean race. But and there's a bonus point for leading the most laps. So 4 bonus points up for grabs. It's the old school scoring standard here with, let me just make sure I'm saying this right. Yes. It's the old school scoring method where it's 42 points for a victory.
Yes. Yeah, 43 points for
victory,
first.
42 for first, and then it goes down in increments of 2 from there.
Well, it's the 2011 to 2015. So 43 points for first, 42 for second, and so on down to 1 point if you did have a 43rd. They get the 1 bonus point for leading the lap and a bonus point for leading the most laps. So no
Correct.
fastest lap bonus or anything like that. They also only count.
No pole.
Go ahead.
And no pole position either. So I was mistaken in that. I just went and looked, and you are correct, sir. There's only the 2 possible bonus points available.
Right, but they also drop 3, so a little bit different from actual regular NASCAR. So they do have some drop weeks where they are able to not show up. As we're taking a look right now, Ryan Steele, one of the names we usually always call out, he's been having a little bit of issue so far in the Tuesday series. Not up, no, he's not. He's got a win under his belt.
Yeah, Ryan Steele won the first race and finished second in the second race. Currently sitting on the pole here tonight at Atlanta. But, we were talking before we went on the air. I was kind of surprised at some of these guys, how many laps they were turning in the practice session. Some of these guys want to know what tire wear is going to look like, what the fuel burn off is going to be. And, some of these guys are prepping for war tonight here in the Dirty South.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what you got to do here. Got to be prepared. This is not one of those cookie cutters. We're going to go ahead and go and throw up our race info so you guys can see. This is a 1.51 mile speedway, yes. But the progressive banking, I absolutely love it here. But it dips down into that kind of flat area on the back stretch where you got to be careful. It's 79 degrees right now, but look at the track temperature. 125.
That's insane.
Yeah, and that's with them putting on laps on it. So it'll cool down a little bit before start, but that's what we're looking at. That's what we're looking at finding here with these guys. It's going to ruin your tires. The banking's only going to help you so much, as we see Bentley Glazier taking his second lap around, trying to get as low as possible, and look at that truck bounce around.
Oh, absolutely. That thing's about as stable as my axe. But the good news on the tire front is they do have unlimited tires tonight. Now, we've seen a lot of leagues go with 1 or 2 sets to go 130 laps. These guys, they can pit every caution if they choose to. Unlimited fuel, unlimited tires, and 1 fast repair in their pocket. So giving them a mulligan early on this season, that was something that a lot of guys were asking for last season. They finally relented and said, okay, we're going to give you 1. Use it wisely. And we've seen it cost some guys already this season in just the first 2 races. There's been a couple of guys that they had to burn that 1 early because they got caught up in someone else's dumpster fire and then stepped on their own junk as Big Daddy Carl Burke jumps to the top of the pylon.
Yeah, on his, looks like that was his second time around, maybe that was his first time around. He's going to be taking this one.
No, he's on his 3rd lap now. So he's done.
Yeah, there we go. Doing a little test run there. With a 31.38. You were also saying that somebody was put in a lot of practice. I believe it was the Weavers, correct?
Yeah, both the Weavers and Bob Beltrami, both north of 100 laps in the practice session to make sure that they've got those trucks dialed and they know what the truck's going to do after a long run on those tires.
Yeah, Bob Beltrami now currently out on track taking his lap. We're going to see what his time is once it is scored. There, and that's what you got to do at Atlanta. You got to get out there, do everything you can to see how it's going to affect the track. Another thing, I don't think we're going to see times improve moving forward, because every time that these guys are out on the track, iRacing reads it as everybody on the track at once. So that track temperature is going to shoot up as this
actually
group
it's
gets
dropped. It's dropped 8 degrees. It has dropped 8 degrees since the start of qualifying. Because there's a little bit of cloud cover right now. It's partly cloudy skies, and there's some good cloud cover over turns 1 and 2. Granted, 3 and 4 are still in the bright sunshine, but they're able to pick it up in 1 and 2, and that's where everybody's getting their hot sector right now. As Beltrami currently sitting 9th quick, 2nd lap.
Oh,
to the top of the pile.
31.38, tying with Carl Burke there. Gets a little bit edge out into the hundreds.
4 1,000ths of a second. That's what separated Carl Burke and Bob Beltrami. Bob went 31.38 dead. Carl went 31.38.4.
Wow, what a group of guys that we're going to have here. Is everybody the top 5 within a tenth of a second. And then it kind of spreads out. And that's what we've seen a lot throughout this season, Tony, where there's a couple guys up front, but there's also a lot of lap traffic, a lot of good battles throughout the middle as Jeff Schmeyer took his laps, 31.47. Everybody else looking to kind of let things settle out as Brian Barnes just put down a good lap, 31.64.
Good for 11th quick.
Let's go on board with Brian and see what he's doing getting through this thing.
Second lap a lot more tidy than the first one. Kind of trying to get that. It seems so weird to call that a Toyota. He's been in the Chevrolet up until this season. Apparently looking for something different. Still running the popsicle colors. But third quick, nice lap.
Yeah, that's going to put him in a really good position on that high line. Because remember, what I said earlier, this is progressive banking here at Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken, which is very possible that I am. But it's also a very abrasive track. You see these vehicles moving around, bouncing constantly. What that's going to do throughout this run is really hurt your tires, really unsettle that machine and make those tires work even harder because they're not glued to the ground as they would be. They've got to do a little bit of fighting here. See Dustin Burns finish his lap up.
Kyle McCartney, the first one not to improve on their second lap. The biggest thing is these guys are going to really have to watch out for is the aero push. Because these trucks punch such a big hole in the air. Can you draft in them here? Absolutely. You better be ready when you get to the next corner, though, because that thing's going to want to push like a dump truck on ice.
Yeah, and what happens is you get that aero push, but what you're also doing is you're wearing out that front right. Every time you go into these turns, every bounce you take, it's going to be an issue. So, and that's going to make that problem worse as we move forward. As that front right gets heated up, especially like we're at Hot Atlanta, it's going to get hot. You're going to lose traction and get that push as well. So those problems compound upon each other. Take a look around at the Medevac victory lane there. Who's going to be at victory lane here tonight at Hot Atlanta? Anybody's guess, guys. We do appreciate you as qualifying is coming to an end. It's going to be Bob Beltrami up front with a 31.38 for now. Everybody else choosing not to take a lap. These guys are unsponsored, looking for a sponsor to get throughout the season. As you can see right now, if you're watching on YouTube, we have 11 concurrent viewers. So if you guys want to support a really good league, reach out and get out Bob Beltrami. I can get you in contact with him. We can make this thing happen so they can continue to get their racing out to the public, as we are going to be gridding up here. Bob Beltrami going to be starting it out. Carl Burke on his outside. Then we got the number 4, Brian Barnes and Ross Rawlings in row 2. Row 3 is going to be Dennis Fuson and Kyle McCartney. Row 4, Jeff Schmeyer and Ryan Steele. Not a great start for Bentley Glazier. I know he's in the top 10, but for him, if you know, you know, he's going to be starting at the inside of row 5 and William Fletcher on the outside.
Jeff Hollingsworth and Timmy Bates going to make up row number 6. Row 7 is going to go to Ron Holyfield and Earl Weaver. Dustin Burns in the 04 is going to be joined with the 17 of Wayne Hutchinson in row number 8. Row 9 sees Rob Gall and Paul Crumry, with David Weaver and Julian Ricci making up row number 10. And
yep, then we got...
timing and scoring just poop. There it goes.
We got Eric Woods in 21st position. Keith Kelman there in 22nd. Row 12, Barry Phil and Wayne Fleet. Would really help if I show you guys what I'm looking at. There we go. Then we got Javier Torres there in 25th. Fred Williams in 26th. Row 14, James Campbell and Daryl Scott. Then a lot of cars not gridding up yet. Charles Woods.
Row number 15 is going to go to Charles Woods and Cody Anderwald. Angelo Espo and Chris Walker making up row 16, with row 17 going to Russ Kilgore and Dan Stussy.
Two Fords bringing the packet, sitting in the back of the pack. Imagine that.
Absolutely. A couple names that we're not used to seeing here. Of course, we got the deuce of Timmy Bates making his return to the league. We haven't seen him in a while here. And Chris Walker, who normally an open wheel driver, making a start here tonight.
Yeah, and a lot of skill throughout the field. We've talked about it before. These guys, they're one of the oldest leagues in iRacing, so drawing a lot of big names here. Excited to see them get these guys in here.
Very much so, as the field's starting to roll behind the Chevy Silverado pace truck, the official pace truck of iRacing. Beltrami going to have the button. Big field here tonight, or not overly big, but right about the right size you want to see for a mile and a half. And as the field working its way into the 3-4 complex, something to keep in mind, James, the only thing I only saw a handful of drivers try to get down pit road at speed, so should we get a long green flag run, that's something we're really going to want to be mindful of, as not everybody was practicing their pit ins. As the field worked its way out of the turn number 4 complex, pace truck in ready to haul it on off. The only thing left to say is it's time to wipe the visor, adjust the 5-point safety harness, make sure that steering wheel's on nice and tight, because race fans, it's showtime!
That it is. Bob Beltrami getting a huge jump in the front. Carl Burke not too far behind him. Everybody behind him going 2x2. Kyle McCartney getting real up close and personal with the 91 of Ross Rawlings. For now, everybody else is kind of letting this thing settle out as we go through the field here from this gorgeous blimp cam. Wow, stretched out after 2 turns. I think somebody sees something that I'm not. Kyle McCartney, Brian Burns, these guys still going back to back. What a start as these guys are off to the races.
Finally got that one sorted out, as Carl Burke did lose a spot on that initial start, dropped behind Ross Rawlings, now sets chase on the Mid-South 91 of Rawlings, as McCartney and Brian Barnes finally got that one sorted out. But still some moving going on already, as Ryan Steele already up 2 spots, currently sitting in the number 6 slot on that outside lane, as McCartney looking to the inside of Barnes as they haul it off into turn number 1.
Definitely is. We got 130 laps here for you. Take a look at Dustin Barnes in the 04. just put down the fastest lap of the race so far with a 31.66. We know they're capable of a little bit more, but we'll have to see how everybody does here as Brian Barnes working that inside, but he's got the familiar number 12 of Ryan Steele behind him. Ryan finishing 1-2 so far in the first 2 races of the season. We'll see if he can get third or better here, as that would be something super interesting to see.
I believe they call that the Grand Slam.
Yeah, there we go. The old hat trick.
Start the season with a first, a second, and a third. That's a Grand Slam. No, that's hitting around the horn.
Yeah, there you go. As Kyle McCartney and the Kyle Busch throwback and Ryan Steele on his outside trying to get around Barnes. Wonder what we're going to see going on, is if we're going to see some easy passing or if we're going to see that progressive banking kind of showing that both lines in the same. As Bob Beltrami has lost his lead position to the 91 of Ross Rawlings. He goes underneath, takes the lead away. We got a new leader, folks.
Rawlings just full sent it going into 1. Just absolutely went for it, and it paid off so far. But I'm still watching this battle right around 5th place as Steele finally works his way around McCartney. Not going to want to dawdle too much, as that's Jeff Schmeyer right on his tailgate.
Yeah, Jeff Schmeyer, who started in 7th, is in 7th currently. Really trying to get around, as we're starting to see a little gaggle forming here. Kyle McCartney up in 5th. Brian Barnes gets past Carl Burke. He's leading this troop. As farther back, yeah, look at Schmeyer. He's just waiting for his opportunity to make something happen in that 32 Ford machine.
Yeah, and take a look who's just getting past him now and continuing his charge towards the front. That's that evil blue Gatorade machine that everybody hates to see in their rearview mirror.
Yeah, definitely. There's always one, right? In every league, there's always one Bentley Glazier, as he is marching to the front currently. Got to think, what are these guys thinking as far as how long they're going to be able to hang out on the inside here? As we get back farther in the pack, we got Dustin Burns almost getting into the wall, as he was pushing pretty hard, but unable to. Rob Krall is going to take that. And we got Paul Krumai pretty much sitting at the back of this pack. If he looks out his front windshield, he sees a whole lot of trucks in front of him.
That he does, as these guys trying to make some headway early on while they still have the fresh shoes under their cars. Or under their trucks, I should say. As right now, Schmeyer and Glazier starting to pick up the pace, as they've got that is Jeff Hollingsworth in the 97 on the outside of his teammate, drafting down the back straightaway. Bentley Glazier absolutely no help going down the back straightaway. Jumps in front of Fusan as they go into turn number 3. Fusan going to cross him over, though, as Glazier slips up high.
Yeah, check out these guys and how they are starting to kind of single file out for the most part. We're not seeing that wild racing. Oh, we got a car on the wall. That's Kyle McCartney. Gets up into the wall, able to pull it down without further incident.
Boy.
That was just
caught the safer barrier.
What's going on here is he just gets high into that wall and pops right out.
He's hoping for a caution that he was not the cause of, so he can go down and get the aero worked on that truck, because that right front fender is a mess.
Yeah, big issues there for Kyle McCartney. We'll see if he can recover. Bentley Glazier has dropped 1 position so far, as possibly getting up in the marbles himself. That's what you get with these cars with the progressive banking at Atlanta. You get those marbles up there, and something you definitely don't want to get into.
Well, it looked like McCartney had a little bit of that dreaded aero push going into turn number 1, as Fusan trying to figure out a way to get by the 18 right now. Looks to the inside. McCartney going to pinch him down. Here comes Glazier looking on the high side as well. We're going to have a 3-wide situation if these guys aren't careful.
Yeah, definitely. And you don't want to be at the bottom of this thing right now. which I did look it up because I've been saying it all race, and I just wanted to be sure. Chat, hold me accountable, guys. We got 9 viewers in here. Let us know that you're watching. Let us know who you are watching so that we can try and give them a little bit of extra screen time. Atlanta does not have progressive banking. It's 24 degrees banking all the way around. I'm sorry, on turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, with the straightaways pretty heavily banked, sitting at, let me get back to where it was, 5
like
degrees.
18? Oh, 5. Okay.
Yep. So
well, that would explain that giant bump coming off of turn 2 when you go from 25 to 5. 20 degrees is quite a bit. As Glazier looking to the inside of McCartney now, picking off the number 8 spot. As we've got another battle starting to heat up right around, I believe that's for 3rd, with Steele and Barnes going hammer and tongs at it, as Bob Beltrami has also started to reel in Ross Rawlings for the lead of this piece.
Yeah, we got Ross Rawlings. This is our first battle we're going to talk about. Ross Rawlings and Bob Beltrami. We saw Bob get a little bit farther back as he got a good run to start the race, but Ross Rawlings just reeled him in and took it on he had a better run as he was throwing it around, but maybe he's spinning too much as he did start in 4th. He was not on the outside, so he had to work for it. Next, we got Brian Barnes and Ryan Steele, 2 drivers that are close to each other in points and also close to each other here on the track, fighting for 3rd position. Then Jeff Schmeyer got a while back till he gets to Carl Burke, as well as Jeff Hollingsworth back there kind of on his own as well on cruise control. Bentley Glazier has worked past Dennis Fuson and Ron Hollyfield. That rounds out your top 10.
Your closest battle on track right now is the battle for 13th, as Will Fletcher just threw it in on, Rob Golf threw it in on Will Fletcher going into 1 and wrestled that spot away from him. As McCartney continues to backslide, that truck is way off pace right now by almost 10 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's having a hard time keeping that thing where it needs to be, as it's so important in these trucks, that alignment in the rear end. And if with a hit as hard as that, both in the front right and the rear right, you might mess something up. This is one of those vehicles with the upgraded damage model that iRacing has. You really got to be careful with what you do, especially if you hit that exhaust just right on the underside of that passenger door there. You're liable to hand grenade the engine.
True story. As got one check in from the chat, Miss Anna Ricci pulling for Julian Crone, sitting in the number 24th spot. Doing a little tire conservation early here at Atlanta, so not up towards the front yet, but expect them to start to make some headway here pretty soon, as the tire fall off is going to start to rear its ugly head.
Definitely.
It already has.
This is one of those where there's a lot of competition here. There's a lot of competition in WSRL. This isn't one of those leagues that, oh, everyone's just happy with where they are. These guys are going to be racing. So if I am a driver like Julian Reese, if I am a driver like David Weaver, who put a ton of laps down, sitting currently in 17th and 24th, what I'm doing is just being careful, saving my stuff, waiting for an incident.
What happened to the 2 of Timmy Bates?
This is the second incident that Timmy Bates has had. He entered the pit lanes in lap 13. He's a lot of laps down. Not sure what was going on with him. Just trying to see here.
This is his 3rd trip down pit road. I mean, I'm not seeing any red flags popping up in the whole timing and scoring thing, but that truck's a mess.
I'm trying to find something here. There he is, the 2. Oh, looks like he got into it hard with the Texaco machine. Hits the wall, had a tire go down, then had to deal with that. Not sure. That was a mess. Not sure what
lap. That'd be the 28 of Will Fletcher.
Because that was lap 16. Very unfortunate for him. Going back up front, Ross Rawlings, Bob Beltrami battling, Brian Barnes trying to catch up. This is about to be a 4-truck battle if they don't watch it. As the progressive bank, I'm sorry, man, the banking here, yeah, I know, right? The banking here makes this thing almost operate like a super speedway. They got a ton of speed coming off these turns. Drafting coming into play a little bit.
Well, if you take a look at what this track did before they had the latest repave in the real world, Tony Stewart set a 200-mile-an-hour lap time here.
Before the repave?
Just before the repave. It was the last race at the old configuration here at Atlanta, and it was just before they started. Or no, it wasn't the repave. It was yeah, it was. But Tony did 200 mile an hour here, and you know, everybody's eyes just got real big when that happened. Like, yeah, we got to slow these guys down at least a little bit.
Yeah, and you talk about the repave. That's another thing that's going on here is they are going to be repaving the Atlanta Motor Speedway. I think it's they're either doing it right now or they've already done it, where they've increased it to 28 degrees on the straightaway or on the turns there. So absolutely wild.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, I know, right? So it is one of the oldest surfaces in NASCAR. So for them to repave it and actually jack up the banking to 28 degrees, it'll be the highest banked intermediate track on the circuit. So definitely interesting, exciting to see that.
You call me a FUD if you want, you know, but I
yeah, Ross Rawlings gets bent out of shape.
That was big.
Excuse me, go ahead, man.
No, I just was watching Rawlings too. Lost a ton of momentum. Beltrami's going to pull alongside on the high side as they go through 3 and 4. Battle for the lead, hot and heavy right now. Is Beltrami going to have the nose out front, and he's going to bring Barnes with him?
Yeah, losing a ton of momentum is the 91 there as he gets a little bit out of shape, and then these tires are not going to hold on that bottom line as well as they did when he was able to take these positions away. Further on, I'm seeing in position 20, Javier Torres and Paul Krumai. This is a little battle going on here. Eric Woods, Paul Krumai, David Weaver. I believe everybody up front has made it past Ross Rawlings.
Torres already up 5 spots from where he started. Holyfield up 5. Steele up 5. Rob Gall up 5. Barry Phil in the 42 already up 7. Good grief. Barry leaves him on the table for the rest of the kids.
Yeah, it definitely is. We're about to start seeing some lap traffic here if we go a couple more laps. Dustin Burns, currently 19 seconds back, all on his Losum.
What were we talking about before the all hell broke loose at the front of the field? Oh, repave.
You're a fogey.
No, I'm a FUD.
Okay. I think you're an old fogey, too.
I'm sorry. You want to fire me now or wait till after I say it?
I don't know. We'll see.
Anyways, there are some tracks that probably need a repave. But the surface at Atlanta isn't breaking up. And
are you joking?
Yes.
Okay.
What I'm getting at though is leave well enough alone. You know, this track has been 24 degrees of banking for a while. And you know, when you put that extra couple of degrees of banking in the corners, you know, you're really going to start. You're going to run into a situation sooner or later, like they ran into when they opened Talladega, where they didn't have tires that would last more than a handful of laps because of the G loads that these vehicles are going to see when they come back with that new repave. It's also going to be a one-lane racetrack for about 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah, they're narrowing it to 40 feet. I do agree with you there, especially a lot of the NASCAR drivers do as well. They don't like what happened because it's owned with the same company, Speedway Motorsports, that owns Bristol, repaved and lost Kentucky, and then repaved Texas. So,
And what have you had at all of those tracks since the repave for the past decade? Single file snooze fest racing. I'm sorry if I'm sounding like I'm on a soapbox right now. Let us know in the comments if you agree with me or you think I'm full of crap.
we gotta.
I think that would be a good idea for our next podcast, by the way.
Yeah, we just got to get the second one out. But Barry Phil and William Fletcher here in mid-pack. Barry making a charge as Javier Torres again having a little bit of connection issues. It seems that is a recurring theme, unfortunately. But yeah, William Fletcher now battling Barry Phil. Gonna get to the inside, trying to recover from his incident earlier. It doesn't look like he has too much damage on the 28 machine, William Fletcher. There's racing heating up all the way through. And that's what you're talking about. This pack racing is Brian Barnes. As we look up front, Bob Beltrami and Ryan Steele doing a little battling here, possibly saving their stuff.
That's actually the lap truck of Timmy Bates, who finally did burn his fast repair, and he's trying to get one of his laps back the hard way.
Yeah, he's a lot of laps down here, I believe. It's up there correctly. Yeah, he is 5 laps down. If right now, as he just got one.
Right. But this is a great run out of that popsicle number 4 of Barnes. We've seen him have brilliant runs before, but just in the closing laps, he gets caught up in other people's dumpster fires, and he hasn't had the finishes to, really tell the full tale of how he's raced these first 2 races of this season. As Carl Burke peels off, first one of the top 10 to call no mas.
Right after Dustin Burns did in 26, so I'm wondering if there's something there. William Fletcher also deciding to come in. We saw him just battling as lap 35 of 130. I think the math of it, they're not really kind of probably turning this into a 3-stop race, 35, 70, and 95.
Okay, here we go. It's going to be wholesale from here on out. Schmeyer just went down pit road, and if you look at the fall off right now, you're talking just over 2 seconds of fall off, almost 2.25 seconds between their best lap and their last laps, and that's right down through the field. Some guys are actually up to 4 seconds of fall off already, but with Schmeyer, usually one of the stronger trucks, peeling off and going pit, you got to think that some of these guys they're gonna have to pit soon to cut off that undercut, because that's going to be huge here tonight.
Yeah, you either got to cut off that undercut or know for sure you can beat them on stops, and just take 2 stops instead of 3. Because, like you said, we're looking at about 2.5 seconds right now for Ryan Steele, one of the fastest guys on the track. Bob Beltrami looking at 2 seconds. Brian Barnes, same. So let's go ahead and look at that lap time delta and that history.
Well, Schmeier's on his out lap right now, so the next lap is going to really tell the tale as far as the 32 goes. As didn't quite see who that was coming out of pit road there.
Daryl Scott right in front.
Yes, it was. But right now Beltrami in command of this one, 3/4 of a second to the good over Barnes. Barnes kind of playing it safe right now as he's got that lap truck on the fresh tires in front of him. And first full flying lap out of the pits, 31.6 dead for Schmeyer.
Yeah, as we're
Compare that
seeing.
with 33.79 for your leader Beltrami. The undercut is going to be just a monster here tonight. Now the question is, are we going to stay green for a while, or are we going to see that dreaded flag that nobody really wants to see?
Yeah, it's pretty quiet right now, but I think as things move forward, we'll see a little bit of issues. But no, in all seriousness, look at Jeff Schmeyer pass Ron Hollyfield there, like he was standing still. Ron, one of the ones that has been absolutely pushing in that 27 machine, up 8 positions so far. And he's holding up progress of the number 1, Julian Reese, who just came down pit road and is now ready to get rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. You take a look at what the pit delta is from cone to cone. You're looking at about 45 seconds from the pit entry cone to the pit out cone, where you've got to manage your speed plus the pit stop. That's huge right now. But when we start to see more of these front runners, as Hussam going to peel off from 9th, as the more we see these guys start to peel off. That was Schmeyer that just flashed by Beltrami.
Yeah, that was
Bob Beltrami had a parachute on the back of that truck.
That was a very quick way to get his lap back. That's going to give him about a 15-second advantage on Bob Beltrami here, as Bob is now trying to make this into a 2-stop race. He's got to make it to about lap 45 to 50, or 3-stop race, I'm sorry.
Well, here's the thing. If he can make it to lap 65, it's a 1-stop race.
Yeah. But Bentley Glazier, Ron Hollyfield, Jeff Hollingsworth just came in. That's a lot of big names, folks. If you're not used to the Western States Racing League, a lot of big names coming in, especially the biggest name in modern WSRL history, which I do say that because they've been around for probably the longest I've ever seen an iRacing league, about 1999.
99 on the old NASCAR 2 simulator for PC.
Definitely. So Bentley Glazier, 3-time champion, deciding to come down pit road. Now Bob Beltrami, Brian Barnes, Rob Gall, Javier Torres, these guys deciding that they don't want to stay out, tapping out on lap 45. So they're going to get that back. It's going to level out. It's not the end of the world for Bob Beltrami just because he got undercut by Jeff Schmeyer.
But your effective race lead, though, is the 32.
Right. For now. He's gonna plateau off. If you're fast on the front end, you're gonna be slow on the back end. Nothing changes there. But you just gotta hope it stays green. If you're Bob Beltrami, Bentley Glazier, Brian Barnes, all those guys who just came down pit road. Which isn't that how it goes, Tony? At one point, on one hand, while you're the only one out, you're hoping there's a caution. But the minute you come down pit road, you're thinking, geez, I hope this goes green the rest of the way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, my luck, we're going to, as soon as I go down pit road, I'll get popped for entering a closed pit, because just as I was making the commitment to go down pit road, the caution comes out and closes pit entry. That's the story of my iRacing career.
The Don checking in with us. I think Bristol's the worst example of repaving's gone wrong. For a bit there, you had multi-lane racing, but with the last repave, there's exactly one line around. Once past up to shove. Yeah.
I think they should go back to actually asphalt and get rid of the concrete at Bristol, because that's when you had the multi-groove racing. Was back in the late 80s, early 90s. Just before they went to that concrete jungle that they call the track now. But if you went back to the asphalt, you would lose a ton of cornering grip. B, you would have the drivers have to be up on the wheel at all times, and you wouldn't see some of the dumb crap that you're seeing nowadays.
Yeah, but how much of that? Well, we can talk about this forever. But how much of that is the repave, and how much of that is the package, the new package, which is very aero heavy. Um, you
Not
can't
so much
push as
coming up.
much. Yeah, so we'll see. As Ross Rawlings came in pit road a little bit sideways there as we're taking a look down his machine.
He might have been popped for that one. Nope, not gonna happen. Gets away with it.
Not too much. So Ryan Steele, our leader, coming in last holdout in the top 10. And Jeff Schmeyer is right there as he enters his pit box. That's very unfortunate for Steele, as he may have worked himself into a lap down situation.
It's a good possibility, but the good news is you still have 15 cars on the lead lap. Dustin Burns being shown as the first truck one or more laps down. As Steele going to jump out just outside the top 10, and hopefully he can get that up to speed to cut off the 17 Hutchinson. To there we go. Hutchinson able to get by him. But I dare say McCartney may have burned his fast repair already, as that truck is now back up to full song.
Yeah, quite possibly. No damage repaired there. As Jess Meyer, your race lead. Now we got a race going on. Brian Barnes, Bob Beltrami didn't hurt him too bad. Schmeyer is about 9 seconds ahead of him. But he's going to get that on the back end, remember. That's another thing that Ryan Steele's got to be thinking about. He's got to be pushing hard to capitalize on those like William Fletcher and Carl Burke, who came in at lap 34, as they're already coming down pit road. William Fletcher.
I think Fletcher may have hit something. But you like you were saying with that whole get it on the front side, lose it on the back side. Bentley Glazier came in 7 laps later than.
William Fletcher. What is
Oh.
Let's take a look in the replay. I think something happened here. William Fletcher. We're going to try and take a replay.
So he just spun it coming out of his pit box.
Oh, gets into the 7 and the 2. Big accident on the backstretch that iRacing and everybody else missed. The 07 of Keith Kellman involved. Timothy Bates involved. Will Fletcher deciding to come down pit road. That may have helped him out in deciding, as he was not happy with the 2 machine there. Very unfortunate for Will Fletcher. He is on pit road.
Like I was going to say before we went to that whole thing with Fletcher, you were talking about get it on the front side, lose it on the back side. Schmeyer pitted 7 laps before Bentley Glazier and came out after the pit cycle the cycle went through. There was about a 7-second gap when Glazier came out of the pits. That gap is now down to 3 dead.
Yeah, for sure. As we are seeing that, like I said it earlier, like you alluded to, that you get it on the front end, you're going to get it on the back end. Ryan Steele now currently, when he shuffled out, I believe he was in 12th, about 30 seconds back or 20. He's now 14 seconds back from Jeff Schmeyer and pushing the fastest car on the track right now by a good margin of 31.71 compared to our leader, 33.64. The short pit giveth and the short pit taketh away. Is what do you say we go to an onboard and watch Ryan Steele carve through these folks?
Sounds like a good idea.
All right, we are back. Sorry about that, folks. Had a little bit of real life issue to take care of, but you didn't miss much. Tony, I believe you were keeping an eye on things. Tell us what we missed.
Well, Jeff Schmeyer has been dropped to fourth place as Bentley Glazier, Bob Beltrami, and Brian Barnes all have been able to get past him. There is now about a 3-second gap between Barnes and Schmeyer as Ron Holyfield steadily chipping away to try to get one more spot as he's currently running in fifth. Ryan Steele, though, is on kill.
Yeah, and he's got to be. We talked about it earlier. We talked about the fact that because he took so long to get out there and was unable to stretch it to that magical lap 65 marker, he was going to have to be pushed as he passes by the number 6 machine of Wayne Fleet. That's the United States Postal Service. Number 6, I believe.
Yes.
As he's going to be in 6th position. Now he's got the ghost machine of the 27, Ron Holyfield, to get past, who's up 8 positions so far. Guess who else is up 8 positions? Bentley Glazier, one of those who stayed out till lap 42. He's got a little bit of a gap forming between himself and Bob Beltrami.
Yeah, but how about our 13th position, Javier Torres, up 12 from where he started. This is a very strong run out of the Californian.
Yeah, definitely. And you said, it's funny. This is the Western States Racing League. You'd expect more Californians out here. Doing a really good job so far. Up 12 positions. On the inverse of that, though, Carl Burke started in 3rd position, but now is finding himself in 24th. He was, I believe he was involved in that issue earlier we saw with Timothy Bates and Will Fletcher trying to recover from that.
And Fletcher has put it on the hauler, by the way.
Very unfortunate between him. Dustin Burns there's got some damage as well. Oh, as Dustin Burns gets in the wall right as we're talking about it, getting in that zone where people are going to have to start pitting again. Those tires are going to be old. His lap 33 old tires as Ryan Steele gets past Ron Holyfield and Jeff Schmeyer. 2-for-1 special as he's going to move up to 4th.
Well, for the most part, everybody except Schmeyer came in somewhere in the 40s, early to mid 40s, where Schmeyer only did 35 on his first tire stint. So you got to think that tire fall off is starting to really affect. Yeah, it is. It's really starting to affect Schmeyer as he is now dropped to 6th. Ryan Steele, though, still on a tear, has gotten by Ron Holyfield, currently sitting in the number 4 spot.
Yeah, and then Schmeyer again, he's battling with Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth able to get by for now. But then look at Earl Weaver. Earl and David Weaver, this is actually pretty interesting. These guys are never too far apart. Not by design. These guys are just so evenly matched, always near each other. As now Barry Phil is in the Weaver sandwich, as he is up 8 positions so far, but losing ground.
Schmeyer's in.
Jeff Schmeyer decides to come in, try the short bit, try it one more time.
But like we were talking about, you mentioned the Weavers. They both put in right around 155 laps in the practice session. That's insane. I'm going to run a race in preparation for a race.
More laps in fact.
The race distance is only 130 laps, and they were both north of 150. I mean, there's practicing, and then there's just wearing yourself out. Because how many times have we've talked to our top 3, and they sound out of breath after some heavy battles.
Yeah, for sure, and especially wheeling around. If you've got the force feedback enabled here at Atlanta, you're going to get those bumps. You're going to feel it, especially if you got yourself a butt kicker you're going to feel every one of those bumps, and you're going to be fighting it the whole time. So kudos to them getting out there and getting conditioned for it. As Bob Beltrami is almost putting it to Bentley Glazier, our pole sitter, now working on the former champ, and he's close enough to bite.
Yeah, absolutely. Beltrami was another one of those guys that put in north of 100 for the practice session to make sure he knew what that truck was going to feel like when those tires started to fall off. As we've got 76 laps in the books of 130. As Beltrami just putting pressure on the Iceman, and the question is, does Beltrami have the right blowtorch to get that ice to melt?
Yeah, remember, Bob Beltrami came in about a lap earlier. It's not going to matter too much, but what that does show you is he didn't have to fight as hard as Bentley Glazier the entire time around. So, that being said, we are running into lap traffic. David Weaver, or I'm sorry, I think that's actually...
Yeah, that's the 16.
Jeff Schmeyer. That's David Weaver. We're right. You're right.
Trust yourself, sir.
I know, right?
Currently have 15 trucks on the lead lap. Weaver going to drop it down to 14. The good news is, should we get that dreaded yellow flag, that was a pucker moment, and I'm up here in the booth. But,
go ahead.
Beltrami trying to make the best of it now, as it was a scary moment for your current leader, Bentley Glazier. Your pole sitter works his way around Weaver and now ducks back in behind Glazier to try to reel the Gatorade number 87 in. But, yeah, Schmeyer had just come down pit road on lap 73. And his last lap was a 32.19. Currently sitting one lap down in 19th. So something to keep an eye on as next round of green flag pit stops starting to appear here relatively soon. As looks like, yeah, Schmeyer just reels by Daryl Scott in the 62. And am I seeing this right? Scott was last down pit road on lap 35?
That is correct. That was about when Jeff Schmeyer came in originally. So he's going to come down. He's going to have to come down again. We know they can make it about 46 laps on a run. So Daryl's going to be pushing the tail end of that. I think I heard somebody talking. I missed it.
I missed it as well, so don't feel bad. But Bentley Glazier currently showing the way. Bob Beltrami not that far away. About a couple truck lengths separate those two. Brian Barnes sitting in third. Ryan Steele back into the top five, sitting in fourth. Ron Hollyfield up 8 positions from where he started, currently sitting in the number 5 spot. Jeff Hollingsworth up 5. Ross Rawlings down 3, currently sitting 7th. Wayne Hutchinson up 8 in the 17 Toyota. Good to see Wayne having a good run here tonight. Dennis Roussan not having the night he was hoping for. Currently sitting in the number 9 spot. And Rob Gall rounding out your top 10. Kyle McCartney, Chuck, for the most part, back into full song after catching the safer barrier early on in the race. As Javier Torres up 13, sitting in 12th. So good run for Javier. Earl Weaver and Barry Phil rounding out your lead lap trucks in 13th and 14th, respectively.
Yeah, but Jeff Schmeyer has just flown by Bob Beltrami. As Bob Beltrami comes down pit road, he sees Jeff Schmeyer passing him and says, "Not again. I'm not going to let this get out of hand." He knows he can make it from here on out with one more stop. He's going to come down pit road and try and get the jump on Bentley Glazier.
As Schmeyer flashes by the aforementioned Glazier down the back straightaway. Schmeyer, about 7-mile-an-hour difference going into turn number 3 between the 87 and the 32. As Schmeyer getting his lap back the hard way. Bob Beltrami just coming out of the pits now. That is going to drop him to a lap down position currently. Don't expect him to stay there for long, as Hollingsworth, Hutchinson, and Gall all bringing it down pit side.
Oh, Hutchinson having a hard time down pit road. Or that was Gall, I'm sorry. We're going to take a look at that. Rob Gall having a hard entrance here.
He might get popped for unsafe pit entry. He hit the cone.
Got a little Tokyo drift there going on. Able to keep it straight. That was actually a really good driving there. Once he got it in. Oh, is the 30 also having issues? Paul from Rye having to throw it in reverse in that Hooters machine.
Gall got popped for unsafe pit entry.
Oh, he's going to have to come down again. Very unfortunate.
No, they're holding him in his box.
Oh, hold it. Yep. We'll see if Kurmai gets the same treatment. As Bentley Glazier deciding to stay out. Not going to be able to make it a two-stopper from here on out, I don't think. Well, possibly, but...
Well, he saw that Steele was able to get 48 laps out of a tank and go fast. You know, I don't see any reason why, you know, Bentley couldn't do the same thing. As he continues to stay out. He's already 45 on this current set of tires. And he's not falling off dramatically. And Ron Hollyfield bringing the Casper number 27 down pit road.
Your drivers to watch are going to be Bob Beltrami, just came down pit road. Jeff Hollingsworth as well. Wayne Hutchison, I'm sorry. Jeff Schmeyer, who is the short pit not working as well as he had hoped. He's already hit his fall off, unless he is trying to stretch this out. So there you go, Bentley Glazier coming down pit road. That leaves out Ryan Steele, our holdout from the last time around. And Brian Barnes, last came in lap 43.
Bentley was awful close to getting popped for speeding going in. The question is, how lenient are they going to be with the 87 here right now as he's bringing it down pit road? Ross Rawlings also in. Glazier down and away, pouring fuel.
Yeah, no surprise there. Nobody taking right sides only, as this machine is already a little bit squirrely. You don't want to do anything to upset that outside. As Ryan Steele is going to stay out, Kyle McCartney is going to be scored in second right now, 10 seconds back. As look in the back, though, you see Bentley Glazier, and he is on a tear towards our leader.
Well, there he goes, flashing by the leader right there. Hollingsworth going with him. So you got to wonder how much longer is Steele going to hang it out here. Now, theoretically, he could go to lap 96 and make it a two-stop race. Question is, does he really want to do that?
Well, we saw what he did last time, what he could do with all that speed. Very good at pushing. But Bob Beltrami's about 28 seconds back, and he's got 2 seconds on him overall. So it's only going to take him 14 laps to get there. I don't know how much you want to stretch this out. Take your prize money and come down pit road and get back on strategy, at least a little better than strategy, because you will be able to come down and push a little bit harder at the end of this race. But he knows what he's doing. He's in a position right now where if there was a caution or something, there's going to be a lot of vehicles trapped a lap down.
Currently 5 on the lead, 6 on the lead lap. Steele, Schmeyer, McCartney's in his pit, so he's about to go a lap down here. There he goes. So now we're left with 5 on the lead lap. That's Steele, Schmeyer, Beltrami, Glazier, and Hollingsworth, with Steele having to come down for his money stop still. He's got to go pit sooner or later. You know, he's almost to the point where, okay, making it a two-stop race. but he's giving up so much time to those guys behind him right now.
Yeah, but we saw
Schmeyer for that part.
We saw the short pit work, but also here's the deal: Bentley Glazier last came in at lap 88. He does not have to come out again. If it was his prerogative, him, Jeff Hollingsworth, Bob Beltrami, they could trap these guys a lap down. You cannot hope for a wave around if you're one of these guys that's in 7th place back that's going to be a lap down. So Ryan Steele's just got to hold the line. He's got about 18 seconds back to Schmeyer, who is also going to be on fumes coming in if he makes it through, as that's going to be Wayne Hutchinson in the 17 machine getting his lap back the good old-fashioned way. So definitely something to think about, but you got to think the crew chief is telling Ryan, hey, nobody's really getting racy right now. Julian Reese's there, Earl Weaver. There's a pack we're looking at. Earl Weaver, Derek Scott, a couple lap cars in there in 17th.
Yeah, Weaver and Scott, that's the actual battle for position right there. As that's Scott in the 62, Weaver in the 46. And you kind of got to give the nod there to Weaver, being as he was down 8 laps later to get his servicing done. But that's a pack airing the wolves behind those guys, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere near it right now as we're going 3 wide into turn number 3.
Here you go. So Ryan Steele, if you're listening, they are racy some places around the track. We got Earl Weaver there. What was that?
Schmeyer's in.
Yeah, Schmeyer coming down pit road. Oh, missed the box. That's going to be huge.
Self-inflicted wounds. That's what's cost people before. But
oh, 3 wide once again, 62 and the 46. That's Daryl Scott and Earl Weaver battling for position here. There's a lap truck going a little bit farther back. This pack is going to try and settle it out. Ryan Steele still not giving up. But that more and more people getting their lap back. If he comes in soon, he's going to be flying. You're going to see the fastest laps of the race, I believe, coming out of Ryan Steele once this thing plays out.
Well, he's only going to have about 30 laps to get it done, as we're almost to the century mark here at Atlanta. 130 laps of scheduled distance, currently getting ready to put, and there he is, going down pit road there.
Right as we got 3 wide behind him, Carl Burke, Kyle McCartney, and then the lap car of the 30 machine, Paul Krumrye.
Krumrye's Hooters Chevy Silverado skating a little bit, as is the truck next to him. I didn't see who that was.
Julian Reese.
The one. Yeah, Ricci was skating down the back straightaway.
Yeah, he was almost looked like he was winning a race on the console and deciding to get a little fancy with it, but that wasn't the case. It was old tires rearing their ugly head, 29 lap old tires. As in front of him, you see Ryan Steele able to get out there.
Going to come out right next to Ricci, and now has to try to reel in the lap truck that's Eric Woods, currently 1 lap down. And I mean, he can see those trucks in front of him. He's going to have to blister one right here to make this strategy work. Now the question is there enough time for him to get back up there to Glazier? The answer is a definite maybe.
And he's got traffic to work through as well.
30 laps to get it done, and he's got a 25-second deficit.
Which, his last lap, we'll see it scored, but his last lap was a 31.71, so he's about a second faster. We'll see As guys, just a reminder, with 28 laps to go, we are live here on YouTube. This is live. Anything you see, we can read to you and get those guys that you want to see some more screen time. Let us know. We hear it all the time. Hey, why do you focus on the leaders? And that's just where the battle is. But if you let us know who you're rooting for, we'll try and get them some more screen time. We like doing it for you.
Wow.
So,
fastest lap of the race to Ryan Steele, 31.44.
What did we say? Ryan Steele is going to be a man on a mission here, 31.44 as opposed to the 32.79 of Bentley Glazier. If that pace stays as it is, he is going to be able to catch him here in about 20 laps, as Bob Beltrami, 33.19. Everybody in front of Ryan Steele is a second slower. He is going to be passing these guys like they're standing still as he gets Kyle McCartney in the 62. As he could put that truck anywhere he wants to on fresh tires.
Absolutely, as pulls alongside of Steele, or pulls alongside of McCartney, and that is the lap truck of Rob Dahl on the high side. Dahl staying out of the way, letting Steele do his magic right now. I do want to thank everybody that is joining us in the live stream. Don't forget to subscribe, like, turn on bell notifications, and share this thing around. Help us spread the word of the Western States Racing League. And the thing is, the thumbs up, the liking of the video, that really helps with the YouTube algorithm of helping to bring this race to larger quantities of people. The bigger the thumbs up, the more these races will show up on your login home screen. But yeah, Steele is just on a tear. His last 3 laps were sub 32s. That one was a 31.57, tying the fastest lap that Bob Beltrami put up today. And Beltrami's last lap was a 33.75.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what we're gonna see moving forward. Is Ryan Steele is not slowing down as much as you would expect. Further on, we do have some other position battles going on. Ross Rawlings and Ron Hollyfield about half a second from each other. Ryan Steele, though, that's the next one that popped up. He's going to catch Dennis Fuson, if I'm not mistaken. He's going to pass him like he is a duck on a pond, as now he's got Wayne Hutchinson. Then we got Jeff Schmeyer. Jeff Schmeyer, unfortunately, unable to make that short pit situation work out for him. He is in 12th position. Currently trying to battle with Javier Torres. Got a little bit of issue here. What was going on with Burke?
He almost got into the 6 of Fleet. His Fleet cut him off going into turn number 3.
That's a battle for position.
Yes, it is. That is hot and heavy for position, as you've got Schmeyer right behind those guys. Technically not for position, but those two guys are going hammer and tongs at it as they're working by Bob Beltrami right now. Just a little bit fresher tires for Burke. As Beltrami was last down on lap 83, Burke's last time down pit road was lap 99.
Definitely is. Burke's not out of the woods yet. He's got who is that?
Schmeyer.
Oh, we got a caution.
Oh,
James
my goodness.
Campbell.
Ron Hollyfield went for a ride.
James Campbell still hasn't got that thing fixed or got that thing straightened out.
Oh.
Campbell taking the blame for that. Let's see what happened here. Oh, boy.
Hutchinson just blew his engine.
That was quite a ride that James Campbell just went on. We'll try and catch it. Oh, that's just a slow vehicle Oh no, the 87, the 27 getting involved. Wayne Hutchinson gets involved.
It started when Campbell caught the wall coming through the dog leg. Hutchinson absolutely nowhere to go. Earl Weaver absolutely nowhere to go. Just race car to the face for both those guys. Well then, that changes the dynamic of this race entirely.
Yeah, I would say so. Let's take a look at one more shot here on board with James Campbell. Sure, that was an interesting. Oh, it looks like he lost power, and then what a ride here.
Yeah,
As a beautiful sky here in Atlanta, we get to see for a short period.
Well, Doc, last thing I remember was Dirt Sky, Dirt Sky, Dirt Sky, Pretty EMT.
There you go. Very unfortunate for James Campbell. Yeah, you're right. That changes the entire dynamic of things. Bentley Glazier was out front. Ryan Steele last came in at that time, but everybody on the lead lap decided to come in. Bentley Glazier, Bob Beltrami, Jeff Hollingsworth, Brian Barnes, Ross Rawlings. Jeff Schmeyer just came in at lap 95. He opted not to come in with everybody else.
He just got the free pass.
There you go. Yeah, so he will most likely come by
He's
later
coming in
on.
now.
No reason not to if you're the lucky dog. You're going to be at the back of the
right
longest line anyway, so good.
Absolutely.
Good for him. Yeah, I think everybody came down pit road.
Yeah. You kind of have to at this point.
Carl Burke. Yeah. So these are your three lucky dogs. It's going to be Carl Burke, Julian Reese, and Dustin Barnes, it looks like there. Going to get the wave around in front of Bentley Glazier. Man, I would say that's not what Ryan Steele. What's that?
There's a fourth truck up there too.
Yeah, I think it's either Timothy Bates and Fletcher.
Well, it's Burns, Ricci, and Burke are the three that are going to get the wave around.
And Bates.
Yep,
Bates is the fourth machine there.
Yep.
So we talked about Ryan Steele. That was it's definitely going to help him. He has the fastest lap of the race. And now he's going to be on the high side, row 3. I think this was good for Steele.
It's very good for Steele. But the thing is, what was a 130-lap race is now going to be about a 15-lap shootout.
Which, if it's anything like at the start of this race, bring it on. Let's see more of the restart. We'll go ahead and take you back throughout what happened through the race while we got some time as we're gritting up. Take a look at this green flag here. Everybody getting moving. And then instantly just races popping off everywhere. Lap 13, Timothy Bates having a little bit of issue. Was ultimately going to hurt his race. Javier Torres and him getting into it here.
Here we go.
As we are going live, here we go. We're going to check it out. Bentley Glazier has the button on the inside of row number 1 as that Chevy Silverado is going to take that hard left onto pit road as we are door to door out of 3 and 4. Pace truck is off. Here we go, race fans. We are racing here. 17-lap shoot-off. Bentley Glazier gets a huge run. Jeff Hollingsworth on the inside, able to get past Bob Beltrami, and Brian Barnes is giving the horn to Beltrami, saying, hey, let's hurry up. Let's get up there. Steele now in 5th behind Barnes as we are racing, folks.
Absolutely, and here comes Steele to the inside of Barnes going into turn number 3. Side by side they go. Steele, though, in heavy aero wash right now as he's got a truck in front of him and a truck outside of him. That's not going to be where he wants to be. Is there 3 wide?
3 wide here. Bob Beltrami, Brian Barnes, as they almost touch. Man, luckily these guys are in the same zip code, or else that would have been net code. As Brian Barnes and Bob Beltrami side by side, Jeff Hollingsworth trying to get his nose in there. Nowhere to go here on the 24-degree banking of Atlanta. Ryan Steele has to pray for something else to happen, as now Kyle McCartney in the fresh ride, able to find the bottom there in 6th place. He's in a really good position after what happened to him earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. As Brian Barnes just reset the quickest lap of the race with 31.31. Good grief.
Yeah, doing it in second behind Bentley Glazier, who just scored his best lap. First, second, third, and 6th just scored their best lap respectively, with Brian Barnes getting the best of the best there. As it is popping off here, everybody up to 7th within a second. Then back we got Earl Weaver, Dennis Fuson, Javier Torres. These guys are a lap down, mind you.
Barnes just did it again, 31.24.
And what's crazy is he's still not making headway on Glazier.
No, he's not, and that's the scary part. And the other thing is, you take a look at Steele's last lap. Actually, take a look at 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Top 5. All the top 5 just had their fastest laps.
31.24, 31.26, 31.29, 31.27.
As this.
Okay, then.
Oof. So as we look back, we want to get some eyes on somewhere else here. Yeah, it's about to get chippy here as we see the 11 Earl Weaver battling Dennis Fuson. This is for 11th. Eric Woods up there. So let's take a look. Brian Barnes trying to get past Bob Beltrami.
Beltrami working the high side on the 4 of Barnes right now. Going to have to get it sorted out really quick because they've got a bunch of angry wolves behind them, as Steele seems to be fading ever so slightly. That is Ross Rawlings all over his tailgate right now, as Hollingsworth giving Beltrami a little bit of drafting help as they go through 3 and 4. Bentley Glazier, though, looking at them going side by side in his rearview mirror going, see you guys. I think you would have learned last season or the season before. Go ahead, just run side by side. I'll just walk away with it again.
There you go. Guess who has the best seat in the... Oh! We got a car on the wall. That's Hollingsworth in the wall. Almost gets into Steele. Steele stays out of it. That's going to break up McCartney and Rawlings. They're going to have to adjust. That's going to give a huge advantage to Brian Barnes, Bob Beltrami, and Bentley Glazier, as Bentley Glazier is stepping it out here. As
10 to go.
Yeah, 10 to go. Ross Rawlings and Kyle McCartney, your closest battle now, side by side going into 1. Keeping an eye on down here with there's a whole nother pack of cars behind him that also want field position. Eric Woods, Dennis Fuson, and then a whole mess of drivers behind him. Earl Weaver, Javier Torres, and the 32 of, who is that? That's the name I know. Jeff Schmeyer.
Yeah, it seems weird to not see Schmeyer in the double deuce. But McCartney and Rawlings have been in lockstep since the green flag came out for this restart, as they're starting to reel Steele back in. As these guys have got to get single filed out to try to reel those 3 trucks in front of them. As Glazier continues to show the way, Beltrami sitting comfortably in second, not overly comfortable. And then you've got Steele, Rawlings, and McCartney slugging it out for 4th right now.
Yeah, the other battle and why it's so important, that's Rob Gall and Eric Woods. They're fighting for the lucky dog position. They're not really close right now, but if something happens, Eric Woods and Dennis Fuson here are the next ones in line, so they have absolutely got to be battling. Ever present thinking about that, as Javier Torres trying to work on the 46 of Earl Weaver for position. Back up front, not much has changed, but except Bentley Glazier taking a step out. Bob Beltrami trying to hold off Brian Barnes. Ryan Steele there in 4th. That checkup that he had to make for Hollingsworth really hurting him. Rawlings and McCartney catching up really quickly. And then Hollingsworth is back there in 7th, just happy to be in this thing after the night he's had with the pit strategy.
Well, Hollingsworth is now suffering what McCartney was suffering through earlier. And I think of the two scenarios, McCartney came out on the winning end of that whole exchange. Exact same damage that McCartney had that Hollingsworth currently has. That right front fender just wowed. As battle for the lead just starting to get a little tense right now. Battle for second starting to get tense right now. As Barnes all over the tailgate of Beltrami is going down the back straightaway here at Atlanta. McCartney and Rawlings still going hammer and tongs behind Brian Steele, as we are currently 5 to go. Glazier continues to show the way, a second to the good over Bob Beltrami.
Yeah, but he's still stepping it out. As, Kyle McCartney and Ross Rawlings touch. Get a little side-by-side action. The fitting for the Kyle Busch of the 18 machine. That Toyota rubbing with Ross Rawlings. That's going to give Ross the advantage, though, because he did have that outside. As they are on fire here, coming with 5 laps to go, coming to the line out of 4. Everybody wants some. Then we got Earl Weaver back here with Javier Torres. These guys getting a little chippy.
Oh! McCartney and Rawlings just got into it hard going into 1.
Take a look here at the replay. Oh, McCartney giving too much. Gets high into Rawlings. These guys only have about 27 laps on their tires, but that translates to a lot when you're putting down the fastest lap of your race over and over and over again. So we're going to start seeing that wear, that front right getting heated up, not able to perform as effectively as they want to, and I think that's what happened to McCartney.
Well, the good news is they've only got, when they come across the stripe, they're going to have 3 miles to get it sorted out. As the popsicle sticks are in the air for Bentley Glazier. Bob Beltrami and Brian Barnes, though, still slugging it out to figure out who's going to be on that second step of the podium as they're getting in the lap traffic. That's the 04 of Dustin Burns, as Beltrami works around the Dave Matthews Band 04, and Brian Barnes almost gets into him.
Does, but take a look back at Hollingsworth and Schmeyer. These guys battling for 7th. The battle of the Jeffs here. Neither one wanting to give the other any room with 2 to go. As the 85 trying to get in there. That's a lap machine. As white flag is in the air. I don't want to go away from this battle because if anything's going to happen, it's going to happen there. But up front, Bob Beltrami getting into the wall in front of Brian Barnes. Able to gather it back up for now as they're going into 3 and 4. Bentley Glazier has it, ran away, but Bob Beltrami and Brian Barnes goes to the high side here. Coming to the checkered. Who's going to have it? They're side by side. Brian Barnes getting it on the outside. Kyle McCartney making his way behind Steele and Ross Rawlings. Oh, we're wrecking.
Yeah, we are.
Eric Woods, Javier Torres.
Both the Weavers. '62 of Daryl Scott involved in that one.
We're taking a look now. Coming to the caution, Javier Torres just trying to take it 3 wide, get his positions. Oh, and he does so in front of Eric Woods. Man, he did it the hard way.
Watch what happened to Javier Torres.
We're gonna let Bentley Glazier. Did we miss Bentley's? Hate that we missed Bentley's burnout.
I don't think he did one.
He got himself a little baby burnout there, parked on the O'Reilly Auto Parts spot there on the field. This guy wins so much he gets bored of burning out.
Wow.
Let's take a
Watch
look at
what happened to the 22 of Torres. Oh, completely yeeted.
he saw the gap and he took it. Can't blame him. And then squirrely gets into the 85 after getting the position. And the 85 comes up. He goes for a ride. Wow.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Got to get those extra points. Do what you can, especially if you're Javier Torres, who has been battling with some connection issues all season. So,
and the
good to
judges'
see him
scores
get
are in
11.
for that flip from Torres, too. 9.8, 9.8, 9.7, 10 from the American judge, and a 3 from the Romanian judge.
So,
go ahead.
As we're waiting on these guys to get in, I want to do a little trivia with you, Tony. Hopefully, don't look at the results. Out of the top 12, how many had their best lap on lap 116 or 115?
7.
11.
Wow.
Bentley 116, Brian Barnes 116, Beltrami 16, Steele 16, McCartney 15, Ross Rawlings 16, Jeff Schmeyer 4. So on his fourth lap of the race, and then 16, 15, 15, 15, 16. So just to show you guys how much of a battle we had, why they were pushing so hard. That was absolutely it.
Those last 17 laps, no quarter asked for, no quarter given. But the man that came out on the top of the pile, this is getting kind of redundant for us to keep talking to him week in and week out. Welcome back to Victory Lane, Bentley Glazier.
Thank you. I like talking to you guys. So.
Well, Bentley, pit strategy was looking to be key here tonight, as at one point you had about a 3-second gap when that caution came out. Did you think you were going to be able to bring it home from there, even with the tire fall off that was starting to rear its ugly head?
There before that caution, yeah, I was pretty much on cruise control. Bob was faster than me, and he was gonna probably pass me, but he went high that one time and got on the wall, and that kind of forced him to pit early, and that gave me the advantage there at the end. And then on that short run there, I added fuel, but I didn't fill it all the way up, and it tightened it up quite a bit, and it was fast for those 15 laps.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw a lot of you guys put down low 31s shortly after that green flag came out. I mean, you guys were flying here tonight at Atlanta.
Yeah, and the track changed a lot, it seemed. My first run, I was really tight. Second run, really loose. And then that last run is spot on, pretty much.
Well, Bentley, again, it's getting a little monotonous to have you keep doing this to these guys week in and week out. But not the start to the season that we're normally seeing out of you, as I believe you're going to have the points lead coming out of tonight.
He's won 2 out of 3 races, Tony.
I understand that, James. But what I'm saying is, opening last season, it was 3 straight. But, Bentley, you're definitely still one of the class of the field. Up 8 spots here tonight. What happened in qualifying?
Just got massively loose on my first lap, and I reset and did the same thing on second lap, but saved it and was able to get a lap in there. But yeah, everybody's stepping up their game this season. It's gonna be tough, especially man, we had 30 some cars and 111 laps green. That's excellent.
Oh, absolutely. But it looks like, as of right now, anyways, There's still a lot of racing left to do this season. We're only in race 3, but it looks like it's going to be you, Ryan Steele, and Brian Barnes as things currently sit, slugging it out for the championship. But you also have Carl Burke and Jeff Schmeyer right there as well. Going into next week, what are your thoughts?
I'm not sure where we're at.
That makes 2 of us. Let me look. We are at Mid-Ohio.
Oh, I think I'll do okay if I can, keep on the track.
Well, that roller coaster just past China Beach is going to be a fun one to watch, at least from up here. I don't know how it's going to be in the trucks for you guys.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be a challenge. I know Kyle McCartney. He's always up there on the road courses, so it's going to be. I think he's going to be the one to be chasing.
All right, Bentley. Before we let you go celebrate the victory here tonight, your second in a row for season 46 of the Western States Racing League, who do you need to thank?
Thanks to you guys as always. Thanks to Bob for putting on this great league at Western States Racing League, and thanks to all my teammates at OGR.
Bentley, I got one thing for you. Need to find the fire again, get out there and burn it down next time, okay?
Okay, well, I was worried about getting on the Discord because I didn't have the...
I shot you an invite to make sure you had it, sir.
Helped. Thank you.
I thought you were just getting so tired of winning. You were like, you know what? No burnouts. It's old news.
Donuts never get old.
There you go. We'll talk to you next week, Bentley. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that was a week when I stopped, like, oh, that was weak.
I thought I missed it, but we didn't.
All right, Bentley, best of luck to you in Ohio next week.
Yep, thank you.
So that was our race winner, Bentley Glazier. And James, I believe you've got the driver of the Popsicle, and it still sounds weird to say it this way, the Popsicle Toyota. Brian Barnes with you now.
Brian, congratulations on the second place finish, man. Having a heck of a season here. Did you come into this season expecting to take it away so easily and get these good finishes right out of the gate?
Well, I definitely wanted to improve on last season. I didn't even get to talk to you guys last season. I think the 4th was my best finish. So definitely a lot better run tonight.
Definitely. Well, a lot better run overall. We're sitting 3rd in the points with a close battle. Ryan Steele, you're probably going to be sitting about there as well, but getting a ton of bonus points at the end. How does it feel to come out here and just do well, and do you think it's going to translate to the road course next week?
Oh, road course next week. Well, that's cool.
Mid-Ohio.
Mid-Ohio. I actually do pretty good there, so I'm looking for a top 5. I'm hoping right there and keep this season rolling.
Definitely. Well, man, again, congratulations, and we're going to be talking to you a lot more, I'm sure, as the season progresses. We were talking to Tony earlier. Last season when we took over and got you guys started broadcasting the WSRL, we always talked about the Popsicle number 4 machine, mid-pack coming in late to get a top 10, and that's translating. So, man, honestly, congratulations on what you're doing, and excited to see it move forward.
All right, thanks a lot, guys, and appreciate you doing the broadcast. Enjoy watching it the day later, and y'all have a good one.
Definitely. Who you want to shout out? You got any sponsors on the truck you want to talk about?
Oh, Popsicle has been forever, but I can't use them anymore from what I understand. But I still use them in the WSRL because nobody cares.
There you go.
Well, we care because it's screwing me up the fact that you're running a Toyota this year, sir.
Well, I'm 100% content owner, so I like to switch it around. I'll probably be back to my Ford next season.
Oh,
All right,
there we
then.
go.
If you own them all, might as well use them all, Verdad.
Absolutely.
There you go, Brian. Well, we appreciate you coming in, and good luck next week at Mid-Ohio.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
As well.
So that was our second place finisher, Brian Barnes. And one of the guys that put in the second most laps during the hot lap session before the qualifying and it paid off here tonight, coming home with a solid third place finish. Bob Beltrami, I know you're probably kicking yourself for what happened there on the closing lap, but all things considered, you can't be too disappointed setting quick time in qualifying and coming home on the podium.
Yeah, absolutely. Overall, it was a great night. I would have liked to have finished off a little bit better, but wow, I'm just sitting here beside myself. It's just crazy. What a great race. That was just fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, Bob. As the track conditions were pretty. They looked pretty sketch out there tonight, especially after you guys wore all the goodie off those tires. Things seem to. The trucks all seem to be a little bit of tail happy coming off of two.
Well, it was really a challenge, because the interesting part of it is as you'd lift a little bit to get into the corner, it was pushing pretty bad, but as soon as you'd get back in the throttle, it was really crazy tail happy. So you had to you had to stay in the throttle a little bit more than you were comfortable with on entry, and then not quite get into the throttle as much as you would normally get into it on exit, so that you're kind of riding this fine line through the corner and trying to steer it through. And I don't know that I can remember the last time I raced a truck that was quite this much of a challenge, both for me and racing around other guys.
Well, for what it's worth, you guys did put on an amazing show here tonight. Side by side racing all throughout the strategy was really starting to play out right until all hell broke loose there. Inside 20 to go.
Yeah, can you believe how much green flag racing we had? What a bunch of guys. I mean, these drivers know how to race, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, absolutely. And nobody was trying to get a caution. We saw some stuff pop off earlier in the race, but everybody kind of went down pit road and we stayed green. So not to ruin anybody else's race, there was some real sportsmanship being shown tonight through the guys that were having the issues. But
Yeah, no doubt. Some of the guys, there were some problems for sure, but that's the nice thing about Atlanta is there's lots of runoff area, so it doesn't tend to bring out the cautions quite like some of the other places do. It's not quite so picky about it and sensitive. So that's helpful for us in getting some green flag racing in, and it allowed for some strategy. I messed up when I created the server in that, usually we have 4 sets of tires total for a race, and I messed up this week and set it unlimited on accident, but it didn't matter because we only did have just the quick caution. So thank goodness it ended up working out. But there was some good pit strategy going and a lot of different tire wear strategies happening at the end. So that was a lot of fun.
absolutely, Bob. And we literally change gears next week as we come off the 1.5 miles here at Atlanta, and we go up to Central Ohio and the Mid Ohio sports car course. Now, the big question I have for you: which layout are we going to be running next week? Are we running it with or without the keyhole going into the hairpin at the end of the second straightaway?
That's a very good question. I'd have to have a look at the layouts here real quick and find out.
It's an off-camber chicane just before you get to the 180 that leads down the back straightaway leading into China Beach. So something to keep in mind. You might want to play around with the layouts this week and make up your mind. But it's either way, it's going to be fun to watch you guys go on those roller coaster elevation changes that make up the Mid Ohio sports car course.
If it's a bit that's been added, I'd
No,
be
it's
willing to
been
bet
there. It's been there
we'll
for since day one.
then whatever the most classic layout is usually what we go with, unless we're someplace like Sears Point where they've got their separate IndyCar and NASCAR layouts specifically. But even then, things change around so much, don't they? We'll have to have a look. That's a good question. We're going to have some fun doing the twisties on a road course. So, it's a nice change of pace. And it gives some of the other drivers who aren't usually up on the podium a chance to get up there. So that's fun too.
Yeah, absolutely. But those elevation changes that lead to the switchbacks on the backside of the course, that's going to be fun to see how you guys navigate those, especially considering how much horsepower these trucks produce and how little the contact batch is on those rear tires.
Yeah, and just these NASCAR, the vehicles in general, they're a little bit taller. They're not quite as squat as your average road racing vehicle, and you got more weight you're flipping around out there on the tarmac. So
Yeah, these don't like
yeah,
to change
it's
direction, do they?
not like a GT3 car, or certainly something like an Indy car or something like that does. No doubt about it.
All right, Bob, before we let you go and celebrate the podium finish here tonight, I believe this is your first podium of the season, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
So who do you need to thank before we let you go celebrate?
Oh, heck, I'd, obviously throw out an attaboy to Bentley, who's just been a great, competitor in the league. He's just, he having a fast driver makes all the rest of us faster, and, so we're obviously glad to have him with us. And, I had some really good fun racing with, Brian Barnes there at the end. We've been racing together for seems like about 20 years now, and, he's one of the cleanest drivers I know, and, I really appreciate him, so
Well, I don't know if you saw what the gap was between you two at the stripe. Um, it was the distance between the front bumper and the center line of the front axle. That's all he got you by at the finish line.
Oh, isn't that just the way it works? I'm never gonna live that down.
Well, either way, it was great racing to watch you guys in those closing laps. But Bob, again, congratulations on your first podium of the season. Best of luck to you next week in Mid Ohio.
Thank you, and thanks for broadcasting for us.
Well, James, we got another one in the books, my friend.
That we do, and what a good one it was at Atlanta. One of the best races I've seen here. And I wouldn't expect anything less from the Western States Racing League, as we're going to go ahead and go over our oh boy, session.
Finishing order.
Yep. There we go. Session close. There we go. So finishing order is going to be Bentley Glazier in first, Brian Barnes there in second, Bob Beltrami finishing third, Ryan Steele, Kyle McCartney rounding out your top five. Then we got Ross Rawlings, Jeff Schmeyer, Jeff Hollingsworth, Rob Gall, and Dennis Fuson in your top 10. Javier Torres, Eric Woods, Earl Weaver, Daryl Scott, and Carl Burke.
Wayne Hutchinson coming home in 16th. 17th going to Wayne Fleet. Julian Ricci, Dustin Burns, and Keith Kelman running out your top 20. Ron Hollyfield got yeeted earlier in the race and had to burn his fast repair. Went 3 laps down, having to tow that one back to the pits. Barry Phil had problems. Paul Crumry had problems. Timmy Bates and Dave Weaver rounding out your top 25. James Campbell and Will Fletcher, the last two to actually take the green, coming home in 26th and 27th, respectively. Fred Williams, Charles Woods, Cody Anderwald, Angelo Espo, Chris Walker, Russ Kilgore, and Dan Stussy all did not start here tonight.
Yeah, they possibly doing a start and park situation there, but good to see everybody here. We're excited that you were able to watch this production brought to you by Esports Broadcasting Network, and always you can check us out. We got races just dang near 7 nights a week, about 11 shows we're up to, Tony, so go ahead and send them off so they can start watching some other amazing stuff we're putting on.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, share, and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss a single moment of action here on the ESPN family of broadcasts. But for Mr. James Riles over in the production truck on the ones and twos, this is Tony Trapasser reminding you, ladies and gentlemen, that as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.